So I've been playing Minecraft Java Edition since Christmas. Well, technically I've been playing it before Christmas, but I weren't playing it too much, so I'm not really going to count that. You can say I've only been playing Java Edition for a good 7 weeks, and I've gotten pretty good at the PvP. I'm nowhere near the best, but I just want to talk about how I got good, because I think it's really interesting, and maybe it can help some of you. Now, how did I get good? Well, this video is going to be split up into 2 parts. One, answering the question in the title, how did I learn PvP and how to get better at it? The second part, what techniques I used to be good in PvP. Starting off with the first question, the one in the title, really simple. I was just watching YouTube, not even tutorials. I was just watching Technoblade, Minemen, Iusehuzuni, Hurtin, those, you know, PvPers. I know Technoblade doesn't really do PvP that much anymore. I was just watching his Skywars videos, just his really old Skywars videos from like 2017, and I was just sort of picking up movements, picking up different techniques people use, and then because I'm watching, I can see how they implement it and how it benefits them. Now, the second part on what tactics do I actually use good at PvP. Well, if we're talking about classic duels, which is where you have a sword, a rod, and a bow. Also, if you're on Minemen, you get 5 golden apples. I use the rod a lot more. Now, what the rod does is it stops their sprint. If you're sprinting and your opponent isn't, you will get the hits in and they won't. I'm not really sure about the mechanic being implemented into Minecraft for that to happen. I think it might have something to do with momentum. I'm not entirely sure, but you need to keep hold of this mechanic because this will help you a lot. Also, when you rod someone and then you get hit, it deals slightly more damage, and now this is really good. And if you use the rod correctly, you can get people into combos with it, and now this is really useful. Now, the next technique I use is blocking and block hits. When you block, you stop sprinting, and you go basically as fast as crouching. When you walk, you go as fast as if you were crouching. And now the reason I use the block is obviously to reduce damage to me, but also it works as an easier W tap. Now, we'll get onto W tapping in a little bit. Now, the last and final technique is W tapping. W tapping or S tapping, you can use one or the other. I prefer W tap. Is very useful, and it is used by really everyone. What W tapping is just as you're about to hit someone, you let go of your forward key and press it just before you hit them. And what this does is it applies more knockback. When you stop and restart your sprint, you apply a lot more knockback, and now this can keep them at range, which can lead into combos. And then when you get combos, well, they can't touch you, you can touch them. Pretty clear the advantage you get. A bit of proof of this is in this video where I go over the Cone Pro, and here, see here, I W tap and then they go flying. It's really cool, W tapping. It is one of my favourite things to use. I use it all the time. Now, this combined with a block hit, it gets you the combos, and then with the block hits and W tapping, it applies more knockback, and this can really help in games such as Bed Wars and Sky Wars. If you've ever played Bed Wars or Sky Wars and you just got launched flying, that's probably because your opponent is W tapping. The main place this is used is in Sumo. The reason I've gotten so good at W tapping is because of Sumo. I played for a few days, and yeah, it works out really well. One last technique I used was played on Minemen. Now, Minemen is the server I use Iusehuzuni, Hurtin, and Minemen play on quite a bit, and basically you go on there for a week and you've just become twice as good as you were. I'm not even joking. If you practice on there, when I played on there, I played for 3 days, and I already felt major improvement. When you get on there, do not quit straight away. You will get beat a lot because everyone on there tryhards, but do not despair, because it will help teach you valuable lessons on how to PvP. One last technique I use is hit selecting. What this is when you or your opponent has higher ping than the other, let's say around 20 milliseconds, you let your opponent hit you, and then just as they hit you, 1 tick later, you need to hit them. And now what this does is, because of your ping, there is a delay, and now because of this delay, you will take less knockback, or at least the knockback is delayed. So what it does is it sort of glitches, and when you fall, you apply more knockback, and this is like W tapping for people with really high ping, because it's kind of hard to W tap with high ping or against people with high ping. Now, this can be used both ways. If your opponent has high ping, you can use it. If you have high ping, you can use it. One slight sort of problem is if you both try to hit select, then you're just not going to be hitting anyone. I've not really come across that, so I doubt that'll be an actual really sort of game changer, as in I highly doubt you'll just be sitting there. I'm sure either you or them will get impatient and someone will hit, and even if they get the hit select in, it doesn't really matter. And the opposite of this is if you both have low ping, then they just spam click until you get the first hit in, and then try and W tap from there. That's my sort of tactic. So hope you have enjoyed, hope this helped. Especially you, quiz. I know you need a bit of help with your PvP. So yeah, hope you have enjoyed. Goodbye.